Phoebe, what's the most important thing to you? Peace. What is peace? Calmness in yourself and in others. How do you understand more about yourself? How do you discover yourself?
Hey guys, welcome to IELTS Face-Off. And today we're going to be talking a lot about self-discovery. And who better to talk to us about self-discovery than a person who's been practicing yoga and really promoting yoga to the whole of our community. I'm super excited to meet this person because I myself am very interested in his practice of self-discovery and his practice of calm. So let's welcome him.
Are you ready to face off our special guest of this episode? Here comes Bình, the guy who one day suddenly had the whim of his life to quit everything to pursue his dream. Next on our IELTS On the Go journey, let's follow Chương in his journey with his very first step to the central Vietnam, Huế City. Be curious to know about the ability of speaking English confidently of the youngsters in Huế. And of course, you can't miss the best part of the show with jars of ready-to-use tips provided by our IELTS expert from the British Council, Daniel Ruel. 30-minute running of episode 10 of the IELTS Face-Off is about to start right now.
When it comes to self-discovery, who better to talk about it than somebody who's been practicing his art patiently for the past couple of years, and he even gave up a very prestigious Big Four job in New York to come back to Vietnam and deliver that art to all of us right here in Vietnam. And let's welcome Bình. Thank you so much for coming. So maybe tell us a bit about how you got into yoga. Were you always interested in yoga?
I actually wasn't interested in yoga, and I actually didn't even know the art of yoga until maybe around like March 2015 when I was in school and I was getting my master's in actually finance and accounting, and we had to do a consulting project. And one of the girls in my group actually picked Lululemon, #1 clothing brand in the world right now in terms of textile and clothes productions for yoga products. And Lululemon, I looked it up and I was like, okay, cool, let's do something about Lululemon. And we were talking a lot about like global expansions. And then not until I worked in VC in startups in Colombia, Medellin, was when I actually got into yoga. And I was just randomly Googling on YouTube beginner videos, and I just started practicing yoga every day.
So, do you think yoga is really a tool for self-discovery? I mean, I hear a lot of people saying that, but do you think yoga has helped you to be calmer and to discover yourself a little bit more?
Yes, yoga is probably the best tool in a way. I actually practiced meditation back in fall of 2012, so that was 3 years before I actually discovered yoga. And meditation and just learning about your breath, studying different breathing techniques, all that is actually a part of yoga. And yoga has like 8 limbs, and pranayama is one of those limbs, and asana, which is like the physical practice, is one of those limbs as well, but that's only 2 out of 8. Actually, during those silence moments are actually when you have that self-discovery process, and everything that's going on in your mind, everything just connects. And then it just comes to one day, and then you're like, oh, that's my calling.
So for you, you've been all around the world for a really long time. When was the point where you actually knew, okay, this is who I am, this is me?
Well, I traveled to Europe for the very first time in around fall 2012. So that was when I actually started meditation as well, and I did my exchange semester in Budapest, Hungary. And I never thought in the world that I would be able to be here and have this opportunity to study in this amazing city. And I can still remember like the very first time like I was there, and having to using body language to communicate to like drivers who would take me around, and then even like the train guys, they don't speak English at all, and I had a ticket that was not like valid.
And then what happened?
Yeah, and then actually,
off the train?
Actually at that moment, I was so worried I'm gonna get kicked out that I just started to meditate in like my cabin, and then somehow everything just fell into place, and then I was able to, okay, here's the money, and then he was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I was able to get off the train. Lots of meditation, lots of thinking, and lots of eye-opening experiences, and especially being able to see the world and to connect with different cultures was amazing. And at that time, I loved taking pictures as well, but I don't want to take a picture that doesn't have like a person in it. Like through my yoga practice, I was able to take like a simple downward facing dog or upward facing dog pose in a picture like that, you kind of like have a frame, you have a person in it, and then you have captions of what was happening at that time in your life and or the reflections that you've had. And I thought that was just a perfect combination of doing yoga and traveling.
So how do you really tell your stories through your picture?
So I try to tell my stories through my picture in a way that kind of like encompasses both traveling aspect, lifestyle, what I'm experiencing at that moment. So like when I actually quit my job in New York City, I had like a headstand pose because that was the only pose that I could do at that time. But now look at it and think, oh, that was actually the only pose I was able to do at that time for about like 5 months into my practice. But now I can achieve so much more. But then I still respect what I've done to reach that certain point in my life. And then to look at that picture, I still remember like how I prepared for that picture, what I had to wear. Actually was in like a suit and tie, was about to come up to my office to actually hand in my kind of like resignation. It was just like a process. I have to go to meet the HR and then tell them the reasons. I actually didn't tell the lady that I was doing yoga, but I was telling the lady that I had other plans and I was actually coming to Vietnam to do other things. So she kind of like in a way understood, but she was also telling me like, oh, if you ever want a job in Vietnam or anything like that, I can hook you up. Or, but I wasn't really interested in that. But I quit PwC New York to actually work for Lululemon, which has a huge impact on my role and helping me understand more about the yoga industry.
I love the fact that you're picking yoga because of this calling. Were your parents angry at you?
Yes, my parents, my biggest influence, but also my biggest hurdle in terms of becoming who I truly want to be. You have your parents' expectations, your own expectations, having two personas in both worlds, but you can only be one person. So it's very hard, but I just got to try it, and I have to show them that I'm able to make a living for myself. I'm able to create a social impact. As they are diplomats, they are creating social impacts. They're bringing two countries together through different terms and diplomatic negotiations. And me, in a way, I'm trying to create a social impact as well and bringing direct impact and creating value for the community in Vietnam. And I didn't really find that through doing with a computer in New York City. That's not where I can kind of like let my creativity run free. And yeah, and I love socializing with people as much as I was an awkward kid in high school, but I have found myself through meditation and yoga.
So thanks so much for coming on and telling your story. And thank you guys for listening to the story. And hopefully you'll be able to Google your name, right? And kind of discover some of your stories and be inspired, right? But of course, our meeting is not yet done because we have the next section to go to, and I might be challenged to a couple of things. So let's see what the producers have in store for us right now. Welcome to IELTS Challenge, and this time I have a broom with me, but it's not to sweep the floor, or I'm also not going to turn into a witch, but what we're going to be doing is to really learn more about Bình and some of his yoga poses, some of their names, as well as some of your interesting stories. Shall we start?
Sweet, let's go.
Okay, so let's start with what pose is this?
A very basic yoga pose.
What is it called?
Tree pose.
It's the tree pose. Okay, and I'm tickling you. So when's the longest that you can go without getting angry?
Half a day.
Only half a day?
I know.
What about, when's the longest you can keep a pose for?
In handstands, maybe a minute and a half, but this tree pose is even in a basic pose like this is very hard.
How do you like
ticklish?
How do you like the broom?
It's okay. It's not, well, it's not dirty. It's clean.
Okay.
Switching poses.
Okay, what pose is this?
So this is just a squat pose for hip openers.
Is this a pose that's going to really help people burn belly fat?
Does it look like it? Probably not, guys.
Is it going to make people's butt bigger?
Maybe. If you do certain poses, like maybe go up and down, really squeezing your glutes, it helps in a way.
Seeing a really nice collar.
Nice collar, yeah. But the broom is clean, so it's all good. And then you have inversions, which helps with hand strength and then a lot of core. So if you press up into it.
How does it feel to be in a class full of women?
It's awkward at first because you're a male instructor and they gotta trust you, but it's cool.
How does it feel to be shaking right now?
I'm always shaking in a handstand, trying to find my balance and strength.
Okay, I think you've done it super well. I don't think I'll be able to do such a handstand.
It's fun once you practice for it.
Okay, so a handstand, a lot of core strength, right? And a lot of arm muscles.
Arm, yeah.
What are some of the muscles that you use in a handstand?
Actually, almost full body activation. I even have to squeeze my glutes, which is my butt sometimes, in a handstand, just to make it so when I'm in a straight line, my butt is not forward, but when I squeeze it, it becomes tighter.
It becomes tighter. So
tighter.
It's more like a block.
Handstands for tight butts.
Handstands for tight butts. And tone abs.
Yes.
All right. And, you know, if there's a couple of vocabulary for you to kind of share when it comes to self-discovery, what will it be?
Meditative.
Meditative. Now, what does meditative mean?
So you want to be in a meditative state in order to just be with your thoughts. Not really trying to clear your thoughts, but accept the thoughts that are coming to your mind. And then maybe some idea will come up. And then maybe you can find your true calling. And when it comes, you just grab it.
I think also one more that I'd like to add to is deep breathing. Yeah, I think deep breathing is very much a physical state to be in, but a lot of the times we see people deep breathing and they're able to be a lot calmer.
True.
Yeah. What else about self-discovery?
Wanderlust. Feeling free and roaming and traveling around the world. But yeah, everyone wants to be a wanderlust, especially if you're young. And it doesn't matter what your physical age is or what your physical abilities are. You'll always be a wanderlust and wanting to go out there and discover the world.
And I think I have another term for self-discovery, and I think that is open-mindedness.
Open-mindedness, yes.
Open-mindedness to conquer difficulties and to embrace happiness and embrace success.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for coming by today and showing us all of your amazing, amazing moves and teaching all of our audience a couple of yoga vocabulary as well.
Yeah, thank you, Phoebe.
Is that a yoga goodbye?
Not necessarily.
Okay, well,
it's a very professional handshake.
Very professional handshake. All right, take care.
Cool.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Nice to meet you.
All right, guys, moving on to the next section. It is the section with the IELTS expert.